It's time for Remodel Revolution. And now, an award-winning contractor with over 40 years experience. Here is Alex Guthrie.
Welcome to another episode of Remodel Revolution, the show where there is no sports, no politics, and no mean people. We're coming to you from the world headquarters of Remodel Revolution from deep in the heart of the great state of Texas. I have along with me today my very good friend and who has agreed to work for free and co-host this show, Mr. Steve Lauten. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Alex. It's great to be here working for free.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're going to work for free, you might as well have fun.
Yeah, might as well film it.
That's right. That's exactly right. How have you been, my friend?
I've been really good.
Yeah. Are you all starting to get a little bit busy in the air conditioning business?
Well, we've had a great busy summer. As we transition into fall, things will also pick up again with everybody wanting to have their heaters checked out.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that in just a little while. Today, we have a fantastic show. We have invited Michelle Lamb. She's the owner of Better Homes TX in Austin, Texas. She's a contractor. And she's just sort of getting her business rolled out here within the last few months. And I really wanted to visit with her, we'll talk about her journey a little bit and kind of what's going on in Austin, which has gone crazy. And we also have Bruce Graff. Bruce is a local remodeling contractor in Dallas. And we've had a lot of issues really since COVID. Possibly before, but I wouldn't have having big issues with the city of Dallas. But Bruce is a little bit wound up about this. When I asked him if he wanted to talk about it, he started screaming at me. So we'll calm him down, and we're going to talk about some of the paperwork issues builders are having with the city of Dallas, i.e. getting permits and that type of thing. So, but first, let's introduce our first guest, Michelle Lamb. Hello, Michelle.
Good morning, Alex.
How are you?
We're doing great.
Good. It's glad to see you. When we first got Michelle on, she decided she would do this without her camera. We had to coax her into it.
Yeah.
So you are a contractor in Austin, Texas, and I'm always intrigued with lady contractors because it's such a male-dominated business, and it's, historically women haven't been on the front line. There's always been women in the construction business because somebody has to do the smart stuff, and so that's why
it's a team effort. It's a team effort.
That's right. And so tell us about your journey of becoming a remodeling contractor of all things in Austin, Texas.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you having me on and inviting me to be here. I started in this industry, in the home improvement industry, about a decade ago. Worked for some great organizations, national organizations based here in Austin that we had the original regional affiliation, and learned a lot from some great veterans in this industry. It was a good opportunity, and in my back of my mind, I kept thinking, little things we were doing, and I thought we could do this better, or the homeowner doesn't really like it like this. Why do we do it this way? Even to how we treated our employees, and that's ultimately what really spurred me to start this business. And who starts a new business in the middle of a pandemic? I did, and so here we are. And it's really been a great opportunity. And the name of the company is Better Home, but it came about because we want to do things better. And it's been really well received from our homeowners and our customers when we're visiting with them, because we want to do things better. We want to do things different. You mentioned, this is a male-dominated industry, and nothing wrong with. I mean, we have some great men that work here and are part of our team, because we certainly couldn't do it, by myself, and I wouldn't want to. But I think having that influence, we know that 80% of home decisions of what happens inside of a home happens by a woman. So we present things to homeowners and our customers the way I would want them done if it was my home, you know?
So do you think
Everything
that so do your potential clients, when you're interviewing a homeowner, and you're right, 80% of the decisions are thankfully made by the women. Does this kind of soften the blow a little bit, or help you sort of communicate a little bit better woman to woman as opposed to man to woman in the case of me? Although I get along with women fine.
You know, our sales reps actually are men. I go on sales calls as well, and I don't see much of a difference, because when we talk about our story and we include the fact that it's a woman-owned business, it's all over the back of our sides of our van, our service vans, as well as on our advertising. And when people are calling to make those appointments, they say, this is really a women-owned business, and that kind of thing. So when I've been in the home, or when our sales team has been in the home as well, the feedback they're getting is, that makes sense. I like the way you do that. That always bothered me. We clean up after ourselves every day, and those little things that may not seem that much, it means a lot when someone's inviting a contractor into their house.
So, Michelle, this is Steve.
Hi, Steve.
Curious to know, behind the scenes, have you done any kind of training with your people and how they talk to the customer? I know in my business, we have to do a lot of training with our service techs and salespeople to make sure that they talk in a manner that everybody understands what they're saying and they don't get too technical and things like that. And just be yourself, but make sure you include everybody in the conversation.
Yes, we do a lot of soft skills training, if you will,
Yep.
where we talk about the homeowner's experience and doing something a bit better. If it's a matter of communicating and making sure that they're 100% comfortable with what a installer is doing in the home, to explaining what's going to happen. I know a lot of concerns that come from homeowners in my past have been, no one told me what was happening. I didn't have a communication timeline. So we go above and beyond with our communication to make sure everyone's on the same page. Utilizing technology, that helps a lot, as well as the face-to-face conversations that you mentioned. We go above and beyond with that type of training. Having an installer doing face-to-face role playing with me, they think it's kind of funny, but then later they'll say, hey, I'm glad we ran through that. I felt much more comfortable, talking to the homeowner, explaining things like that. So yes, I think that's a huge aspect of getting customers comfortable, is first getting our team comfortable with those kind of interactions.
And then there's I keep calling it a generational thing, because of my generation didn't grow up with the internet. Your generation did. And a lot of our clients, and my client base as well, is younger. And so there's definitely a distinct difference in how we're communicating now than we were just a few years ago with this younger generation of people. Now, do you train your people? I mean, do you have to train them in the proper way to communicate on the internet and, electronically, things like that?
Yes, we will take inquiries to our call center via text. We found, a lot of homeowners want to communicate, setting appointments while they're at work. So rather than, talking on the phone and everybody around them, knowing that they're making a personal appointment, they can, do a text and have that same appointment experience all via text. So we do that. But any kind of communication with a, installer or a sales rep, it has been templated to an extent. So one, we know that, we're spelling words correctly. We're using proper grammar. saying
Well, you're
things like
getting the
that.
right message
So
out. You get the right message out, and even when you're receiving a message, yeah, I love that idea. We've done that for years, where I finally had to write a text or a script, if you will, to the people that were taking the calls, because I would when I would go to interview the client, I'd look at my notes and I'd go, well, they didn't ask them this, or they didn't ask them that, or I don't have this information. Like, what's your budget?
Absolutely. What's your budget's a
Yeah.
really important one.
Exactly.
well, yeah.
Michelle, I'm curious. One thing that we encounter when we're talking to customers, especially when we go out to their house to evaluate what their needs are, is setting an expectation up front as to how much time it's going to take to thoroughly go through their air conditioning and heating system and look at everything that needs to be discussed with them. Because, I mean, we show up a lot of times and say, well, I've got 15 minutes and then I got to go back to work or stuff like that. So
Right.
we try to lay the groundwork up front. I don't know how y'all go about it, but obviously measuring and things of that nature and setting expectations with the customer, that's something else we run into challenges with. Just getting them to talk to us in general. What do you like about your current air conditioning and heating system? Is there anything that you don't like about it? If you could change it, what would that be? Stuff like that is all about communications.
And so your sales staff, I guess, is setting that up, Michelle, when they're going out, that same kind of questioning.
Yeah, absolutely. We start that probably very similar to what y'all do. That initial inquiry where we're making an appointment to go out, our person in the office making that appointment literally kind of walks them through what to expect. And then as soon as, we get to the house and we engage, hey, did the office tell you what to expect during my visit today? Great. So I'll be in and out in about 90 minutes. And, it might not take that long, but just want to make sure that, and then again, it's reiterating again. And when we send out text confirmations or the email confirmations that it explain, who's coming out, a little bio on the sales rep, those kinds of things, they again reiterating that we're going to be needing some time. And of course, that doesn't always alleviate. You got 30 minutes.
Right.
Give me a break.
Right.
And you're going to stay on my porch.
That's right.
We get those all the time as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's just part of the fun of the business.
They
So-
got 3 other contractors waiting out front for
Oh
their
man,
turn too.
I've been there. And,
Yeah.
Oh man, that makes me mad. Anyway, you not only started your company during the middle of a pandemic, which was now we know you're a little crazy. You also did it to confirm your insanity. You're doing it in Austin, Texas, which is the craziest place in the world right now.
It's the best place. Are you kidding? Oh, everyone wants to live here. And,
Yeah, that's the problem.
Well, yeah. But we'll help all of those that are newcomers as well as, been here for a while.
Right. So Austin is like gone completely ballistic. The whole world wants to be there. Everybody's moving their giant companies down there.
Yeah.
It's like cucaracha. How is it now in Dallas right now? And we're going to have a discussion with this later in the show with another contractor. Our permitting has really turned into a nightmare mostly because of COVID, because people can't go in and do like we used to do. How is that working down there right now? Are you able to get permits timely and get all that type of the business, keep it flowing freely?
Yes, and kudos to our permitting department here. They've really done a great job in being proactive. There's a lot of they may not be coming out to the homes, but we're doing a lot of virtual. And I've been impressed of how much they've really embraced technology and kind of led the way in that regard. So they've always been a pretty easy group to work with. But I've really been impressed of, it was a couple of months or a couple of weeks. It was a bit sketch as far as who was doing what. but they've really embraced it and kind of, laid it out of this is what we need and have been very responsive. So
That's fantastic.
We've been definitely blessed in that regard.
Well, it's interesting up here that we, and Steve experiences this as well as I do. Of course, we have all these communities. I think there's 30 some odd communities, or maybe 60.
Yeah,
in North Texas. I can't remember.
there's
There's a lot. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's 7.5 million people, so that tells you something. And it seems like every town has a different system. So I'll go in one town and it's totally paperless. I do everything on the internet or the phone, and they don't even want to talk to me on the phone. They just want me to email them and take pictures and all this kind of stuff. And then I go into the next town, and it's like it was in 1965.
The
fact,
license holder has to show up in person.
They have typewriters with ribbons.
Yes.
And they're like, we like it this way. And I go, okay, that's cool. That's cool. And so it seems like in our industry, our industry is constantly in flux technically. There's just so many things that change it just seems like every year something changes. Codes change, things that are available to us change, materials, everything is it's constantly in flux.
Yeah, the rate of change in our industry is going faster than most contractors can keep up with.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, what a fantastic visit. Thank you so much, Michelle.
My pleasure.
And
Thanks for the
wish you
opportunity.
luck.
It's nice talking with you.
I wish you all the luck, and I hope you'll come back and visit with us again in the future, and we'll catch up, and you can fly up here in your private plane from all the success you've had. And we'll do it live.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thanks, Alex.
Have
Thanks,
a great
Steve.
day.
You too.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Steve and I are going to talk about the question of the day. What is the worst thing that could go wrong with your furnace? I posed this to Steve, and he started laughing. We'll have none of that. We'll be right back. The hardest working and arguably most important system in our homes is our air conditioning and heating system. It heats the air, it cools the air, and it filters the air. That's why it's so critical to have it checked and maintained by the very best professionals available. It's time to contact Total Air and Heat at totalair.com. Get that system pruned and tuned. If you want to have the very best experience, you've got to hire the very best company. Total Air's employees are honest, well-trained, and thoroughly background checked. I never have to worry about sending their technicians out to my clients' homes. Family owned and operated for 3 generations, Total Air and Heat has been a fixture in North Dallas for over 60 years. Total Air is a proud dealer of the Trane air conditioning systems, and you know how hard it is to stop a Trane, so give them a call at 972-881-0020. That's 972-881-0020, or contact them at totalair.com today. Well, Alex decided to make a programming change, and Steve and I were going to visit it, but we're going to do that later in the show. First, I want to bring our next guest on, who is a friend of mine I've known for quite a while. He's a very high-end remodeling contractor in Dallas. We have similar type businesses, and although he's like at least 20 years younger than me, he's been in business almost as long as I have. He was born with a hammer in his hand. My friend Bruce Graff. Bruce, how are you, buddy?
I am excellent. Can you see me okay?
I see you just fine. Thanks. Thanks. I mean, it still ain't pretty, but you are what you are.
It is only getting worse by the day. So we think we can get.
How are you, my friend?
I'm excellent. I've been doing really well.
I'm really glad to hear that. I really am. And so I just I've been calling all over town to find somebody that wanted to talk to me is willing to talk to me about the permitting issues that I keep reading about with the city of Dallas. And when I called you, you immediately started cursing and screaming and stomping. I can hear you stomping your feet. And I said, just save it and we'll Talk about
that was
it
my
tomorrow.
heartbeat. It was.
That was your
I
heart,
can't
not your feet.
yeah, I can't believe you're not finding people that want to talk about that.
I
That
think they're
is,
afraid of it.
yeah. Where do you want to start?
Well, it seems like from what I'm getting and the research I'm doing, that the city of Dallas is in a major transition where they're trying to go from a super old, antiquated, outdated, rusty, old, mossy system to a virtual system. Am I right about that?
Okay, let me start. Let me go back. Okay, Michelle, down in Austin. Austin had, by the way, I'm a NARI member, the National Association of Remodeling Industry, for those that don't know. And so I was a NARI member down in Austin. So I tried to do some work down in that area for a while. And it was abhorrent. It was, they were so far backward by years. I mean, you had people, they were still waiting on inspections that had been asked for years before, and it came down to budgets. And I would brag about the city of Dallas. I bragged about the city of Dallas to everybody about how fantastic this is. I'm going back 2 or 3 years now, probably a little longer. But the city of Dallas had the best system to me, because even though I had to go in there and I waited, I could go in there with just kind of hand-drawn, as long as I gave them the drawings that they needed. I could do hand-drawn drawings of any size, go in there, wait a couple of hours, sit and talk to the plan reviewer, and walk out of there with
a permit.
Yeah. In hand that day.
Yes.
Nobody else would do that. Nobody else would do that. And I bragged to every municipality about how the city of Dallas did things. And the city of Austin took note. And they actually sent people to Dallas to learn how Dallas handled things so that they could become better. Fast forward to today. The city of Dallas is absolutely the worst I have encountered now. It is such a surprise. Smaller towns, Plano, Coppell, all these surrounding towns they did a great job when the COVID hit of learning to go the best way to do this virtual permitting plan review thing. And you could see them changing, switching. They would make a plan, and within a couple of weeks, they would realize, well, that's not great. Let's tweak that. And they kept doing it, and they got better at it. City of Dallas, I don't know where they hired the people that they did to design their system, but it's absolutely worthless, to the point where I've had to hire a third party to handle it. And I've never done this in my entire life.
And this is so you don't go down and strangle somebody.
No, I want to strangle somebody. That's right. It. I want to be able to.
So you hire a third-party hitman to go get your permit.
It is terrible. Communicating with the city of Dallas is awful. And I have called, I've left messages, I've emailed. It would take them days and days before finally somebody would contact me, and I would say, look, I just need a permit. Just tell me what I need to do. Look, I'll come down there. Let me sit in front of a person. I will wear 4 masks. If that's what it takes.
and a shield.
Yeah. I will be covered. I will go hazmat.
Bubble wrap.
Yeah. Hazmat. Whatever it takes. So somebody is not scared to death of me. I need to sit in front of a human being, though, and explain this particular job to them. And I need a permit. And they said that's just not how it's done. They have cut us way back to 25% or 50%. Most of the people are now working out of their homes or whatever remotely, but they've just cut our staff. And I said, okay, tell me this. If our masks are working, the city of Dallas is requiring masks, then why in the world did they tell everybody, come back to work, let's go back to your desk,
wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Go to work.
He said, yeah, I don't have an answer for you. I don't know why we don't do that.
Well, it's a simple answer. It makes too much dadgum sense.
It makes total sense. That's it. Yeah, they don't.
That's too
use
easy.
Their heads.
And it hasn't reached the third committee. It's got to get through a few more committees.
No, it really is. No, everybody is scared. See, that's the difference between you and I and contractors. Okay, Michelle, anybody here, anybody that's a contractor, we have to make decisions on the fly.
Yep.
We're not afraid to make decisions. And if we have to change it later, we will, but we have to make a decision.
That's right. That's right.
But when you deal with a municipality, they are scared to death to make a decision. And when they won't do it because their higher up is going to fire them or
take
whatever.
away their Christmas bonus
with a cane or something. But so nothing gets done. And
so how long does it take you to get a permit?
I'm still waiting for
or
a
you
permit.
Can tell, or can you tell yet? You
No, I can't because I'm still waiting for a permit. I turned in the paperwork originally 3 or more months ago.
Oh my gosh.
3 or 4 months ago. I still do not have a permit. Now, and this is not building a house. I am converting a part of a large wraparound porch. They want to convert part of it, take it over and become an office at home.
A simple little project.
A relatively small job.
Yeah.
Still don't have a permit. Still don't have a permit.
So what about the inspection part of it? How's that?
I don't know. I haven't reached that part yet.
You haven't been able.
I don't have a permit.
You got to be able to do the job to call the inspection.
Yeah, it is horrible.
We've run up against some of the same encounters doing air conditioning and pulling permits, but certainly not to his case. I would say that maybe you should suggest that they move the permitting department down to Lou Sterrett, so that you've got that division on, got that plexiglass between you where you can't contaminate the person on the other side.
Well, and it'll protect them.
Absolutely. They'll have bars and plexiglass.
They can say whatever they want to these really mad contractors.
Yeah.
So here's something else. The website, it's like most of us, let's say that I've built my website. I'm sure you guys have your great websites, and you've gone out of your way to design it in such a way that it is user friendly because you want it to be easy for your customers, whoever, to look through your stuff and figure and and move through it easily. Not the city of Dallas. Oh no. It is the most convoluted system I have ever seen. You have to click on at least 12 different buttons, but none of them are named what you would think they should be named. You're like contractor for permit, click here or something like that. Oh no, it's got some stupid name that is totally unrelated. And you just have to go through so many steps to finally.
You mean they found the wrong nerd to put it together? So are you accusing them of hiring the wrong nerds?
Yeah. I was thinking something a lot worse than that, but we'll go with that. And here's something else that I found out. So I send in my drawings in PDF. I had like 13 pages, 14 pages. So it says you have to upload these drawings. I uploaded the drawings. Weeks later, it's not days later, weeks later, I finally get a reply that says, no, we can't accept this. You have to send them one page at a time.
Oh, no.
One page at a time. Yeah. Yeah, one page at a time. Okay.
Oh,
so
no.
do that.
12 emails, 12 uploads.
Then, weeks later, I get another reply that says, you have to follow this format now. We are no longer accepting anything, but it has to be 11 by 17. You have to leave this many square inches up in the upper right-hand corner.
Oh, no.
And it tells you specifically how a big area has to be left open for them to stamp it or draw color pictures or something up there.
Oh, my gosh.
They tell you, they basically design your drawings. All your drawings from now on have to look like this, follow this format. City of Dallas, nobody else cares. City of Dallas never did
it's
it
interesting because last year I did a project in Flower Mound. Now I did a kitchen remodel, beautiful, beautiful remodel. And I had never dealt with Flower Mound, and I had never done a all virtual permitting process, inspection process, the whole thing. And at first I was like, this is going to be crazy. It was so easy. I loved it. They
Yeah.
have got it down pat. And a
Yeah.
lot of these smaller towns around us, around Dallas, started integrating into virtual permitting and years ago. All these different, there's actually, I can't remember, Bruce, you may know the name of it. There's just one system a bunch of them have gotten into, and it does all of that for you, and it made it very easy. And I never could understand. First of all, I agree with you, Bruce. I loved bragging about how I could send my wife to get a permit, and she would just take her book and read and visit with whoever's sitting next to her, and then they would send her downtown to the old courthouse or something stupid, and she'd call me and cuss me out, and then go get it and go back. But I had a permit at the end of the day. I had a mad wife, but I had a permit.
Well, at least you knew why she was mad. I run
Well,
up
I
against
just like
this
that she's
problem
mad
a
at
lot.
someone other than
Why
me.
are you mad?
Yeah,
What did
yeah.
I do?
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing.
It's not you.
Yeah.
No,
I went
you're
through the
you're the jerk that sent me down here.
Yeah, Alex, I did the same thing. You mentioned going to the courthouse. That was the deal. That's another thing that City of Dallas does that doesn't make sense is you have to go. I'm standing there. You have to wait 2 hours. You finally get called up, and then they say, oh, your license is expired. You're going to, well, okay, well, let me take care of that. Oh, you can't take care of that here.
No, you have to go to the other side of town.
You have to go find a parking space down there at the courthouse,
Yeah.
go up the second floor, and each time you go, they have moved it.
Yes,
That all-
yeah, because they're
this is not
remodeling
in-
it. That's right. That's right. We're remodeling that floor this year.
Yeah, they have moved it. And they haven't, yeah, and it's just stupid.
And then you have to have the certified plat. You
Yeah.
can't just take them. You can't just take them a little plat that the homeowner gave you that is fine. No, you have to go you have to go back to the little red courthouse and get one that is stamped by them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what are you people? You're out of your minds. Anyway, I love beating up on the government.
Well, but like what you said, when the COVID stuff hit, right when that hit, I was in the middle of a large kitchen remodel, kitchen in half of the house actually, and I was in Coppell, and so everything shut down, everything stopped, and luckily we were deemed essential, and so we were able to keep working. But City of Coppell did a great job, honestly, of winging it. They made it up on the fly kind of a deal, but it worked. We could see they were trying to make things work for us and still follow, protocol, whatever, new protocol. And so I'm assuming that other municipalities, the small ones, have done the same thing. But
Well, they
so
can be a
kudos to
lot
them.
more. They can be a lot more flexible. They don't. I mean, in all fairness to any big city, I imagine they're all having their challenges. It's pretty tough. But City of Dallas is just like all big cities. It's got gazillion layers of bureaucracy, and trying to get through it and make changes has always been difficult. One quick thing before we let you go, I was going to ask you. You touched on this briefly. How have your clients handled when COVID first hit, and I had two nice projects I was ready to move in and get started on, and then they shut me down. Hadn't heard from them since. How have your clients handled you being in their homes? Has it been a challenge for you on any of your projects or potential projects?
No. Same thing. I had a couple of projects at the time that we were getting ready to move into, and then they stopped it and they said, "Let's wait." Well, those have come back.
That's
Since then,
good.
the clients have contacted me, and so I am doing those jobs, and they actually have grown even since then. So that's a great thing. But no, I've done work in homes, and nobody has required anything special. We haven't been wearing masks, so that has not been an issue at all. Now, when I go out to look, if I'm meeting a new client, somebody I haven't met before, we will put on mask. I will put on mask. The designer will put on mask, and we'll walk through, and we kind of gauge it by the homeowner themselves.
Sure.
If the homeowner is wearing a mask, we will wear a mask. And if they are not, that means they're comfortable with us. everything like it is. We take our mask off, and that's it. So we kind of wing it, guess.
I sure wish I could experience what he's experiencing, because on the flip side, we got customers that when we go to do an air conditioning tune-up and don't want to let us come inside the house to check the indoor part of the system.
Wow.
Or, we got to wear masks at all times. And, we even have to get into the discussion, do you want us to touch the thermostat or do you want to touch the thermostat?
I know. So it seems like everybody has a different sensitivity to this whole issue. And it's really hard to gauge because I think we're all really confused about this entire thing, all the way from some of us that think it's been maybe blown out of proportion, and those of us that have had friends and relatives get sick or sadly pass from it. So we know it's serious. I mean, I think we all know it's serious, but nobody seems to have a good handle on how to handle it. It keeps evolving, and it's been super challenging for everybody. So, Bruce, we really, really appreciate you spending time with us this morning. As always,
Absolutely,
it was a lot of fun. And next time we'll talk about something that doesn't get your blood pressure up.
I was going to say, don't forget to take your blood pressure medicine.
I was going to say, what can I yell about next time?
Yeah, right. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate it, Bruce.
Absolutely.
Okay. Have a great day, my friend. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Steve and I are going to talk a little bit about getting your heater ready for winter. And I tell you, it's coming on fast.
It is.
We'll be right back. Imagine this, a totally customized, organized, and beautiful master closet. A home office that fits right into a perfect space. A pantry designed specifically for your storage needs. Imagine your home totally organized. It's time to call the design professionals at Closets by Design DFW and turn your dreams into a reality. With a design staff over 30 strong, Closets by Design works directly with you to create your dream space, and they build it locally, helping support the DFW community. Check them out at dallas.closetsbydesign.com or call them at 972-361-0010. Use the promo code RRV to find out about the amazing specials and discounts available. That's dallas.closetsbydesign.com or call them at 972-361-0010, and don't forget that promo code RRV. Closets by Design. Well, here we are again, another year gone by. The temperature is below 100, and since it's below 100 and we're in Texas, we know it must be close to winter time.
Change the season.
And so Steve is cranking up the old gas meters and whatever air conditioning guys do. And I asked Steve to talk to us a few minutes today about some of the things that can go wrong with your furnace and why it's so important right now to have your AC contractor come in and do a service call on it.
Thanks, Alex. The first thing I would say is that your system, even though it may not need to run right now for heating, needs to be ready to run for heating, because it's inevitable, especially in Texas, that one day is going to be 90 and the next day is going to be 30.
Or that night.
Yeah, same day.
Or in
Absolutely.
sleep snow.
I mean, it's an amazing thing about living in Texas is the temperature, how fast the temperature can change.
That's right.
So that's why we suggest that right now you get your heating system ready to run so that you know it's going to work the way that it needs to when it's time. From a safety perspective, furnaces and even electric air handlers are a lot different than an air conditioner that's sitting outdoors, in that safety is of primary importance with the heating portion of your system. Gas furnaces have a fire burning inside them. And if the burners aren't clean, if the adjustment of the burners for the oxygen to fuel ratio is off, if the gas valve is having troubles, all of those things can cause your furnace to not operate properly. That's where getting a certified professional in to check it out and make sure everything's okay. A prime example might be when you turn your furnace on, it goes to heat and it makes a boom when it starts, when the burners come on.
I thought that was just mine.
That's called delayed combustion because you get gas in the furnace and it's not igniting right away.
Right. Just like your grill outside.
Yeah, it can do the exact
Yeah.
same thing, and it can have a big explosion,
Yeah. Lift the
just
lid.
like your gas grill, and blow the panels off of it. Furnaces also can get cracks in the heat exchanger. So again,
What's a heat exchanger? What is that?
Heat exchanger is the device inside your furnace that separates the air that flows into the house from the gas that's burning on the opposite side of it. So it's got channels where the air goes inside the channel.
Like tubes.
Some of them are tubes. Some of them are kind of concave and shaped like that,
Yeah.
where they're crimped at the top and the bottom. But the air always flows through those openings, and then the heat's on the outside of the tube or the other side of the walls of the heat exchanger. From expansion and contraction over the years, they can get cracks. Some of them are more prone to cracking than others, but again, for
What
a nominal
happens
amount
if
of
they get
money,
a crack? What can happen if it gets a crack in it?
can let carbon monoxide in the
Oh,
house.
the carbon monoxide thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in Texas, at least in the more moderate temperature parts of Texas, it's rare that somebody dies from a carbon monoxide on a heat exchanger for a gas furnace. That's not the case with the freestanding gas heaters that you see in a lot of older homes where you can literally just touch them. But you get a lot of headaches and a lot of dizziness and things like that. So please just spend the money and get your system safety checked. Same thing for electric air handlers, in that they've got large wires that go to the heating elements, and those connections can get loose and cause the wires to burn.
Well, and sometimes they taste good to squirrels and rats.
Yes, electric furnaces certainly can turn into a roaster for the critters that get inside it. Along with, I can't tell you how many electric air handlers or gas furnaces have a funky smell when you first turn them on. And that's because of all the dust that's collected inside it.
Burning off.
That when you turn it
Yeah.
on, it burns off.
I have them. I will go in a house and turn them on, and smoke will fill up.
Yeah, you'll
the
have
house
smoke come
from
out of
all
the vents
that.
sometimes.
It's scary. It's scary.
Absolutely.
So real quick, we got about a minute left. One of the things that I want you to do, and Steve wants you to do, is check your smoke detectors. It's super, super important that you do that right now. Change the batteries in them. Also, check your carbon monoxide detectors. You should have one wherever you have a gas appliance, and I don't even care if it's in the kitchen. You should have a carbon monoxide detector nearby. It can combine with a smoke detector. You can get one that combines. They're not expensive. Check the batteries, make sure they're working properly, make sure your smoke detectors are. And because this is the time of year when, or we're coming up on the time of year, we probably have more house fires
Sure.
than any other time of year for this reason.
A lot of people store stuff around their water heaters in a
Absolutely.
closet.
Make sure
they
you
turn
hadn't
that
gone
into
in
the
and done
broom
that.
closet and everything else stored around it, and flames can roll out from that and
Yeah.
catch things on fire. Also, every single home should have a carbon monoxide detector by the door that goes into the garage. You could be an all-electric home and still get carbon monoxide in your house.
Absolutely, absolutely. Particularly if you have a living area over the garage. We can talk all day about disasters that have happened from that. So make sure that you do not underestimate carbon monoxide. The detectors are cheap. Put them in. Thank you, Steve Lauten.
Thank you.
You're an amazing human being. Thank you for being here today. It's been really fun.
It's been great. Can I get you to write a note about how great a human being I am so I can take it to my wife?
I called her and told her the other day. She didn't tell you, did she?
No.
No. Thank you to all of our sponsors and, of course, our audience. Check us out on Facebook at Remodel Revolution. Check us out on Instagram, Remodel Rev. Twitter at Remodel Rev. YouTube, Remodel Revolution. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. We love to be liked. We need more friends. We always need more friends. Thank you, Steve Lauten.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, On Air Media and Ziggy Becker. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week.
The views and opinions of this program are for educational and entertainment purposes only and are not intended to replace the recommendations of a hired professional.
You can catch Remodel Revolution anytime. Follow the show on the website, remodelrevolutionradio.com, or on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest, using the handle at Remodel Revolution Radio. You can always listen to the show on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and TuneIn, and watch the show anytime on YouTube.